So, this is my package I received today from Scat Enterprises in Redondo Beach, California, as you can see from the label. This is a new engine to go in this little bad boy. This is what is called a Formula Vee, and you might have seen some of the videos that I've posted before or from last year when I was racing this, but unfortunately that happened in January of this year, which is the year 2015, only a few months after I purchased it, and that is a giant hole in the engine block where a connecting rod came apart or came loose and busted a hole, and there's one in the bottom as well that you can't see in my little race car. That motor is a 1600 cc. It's somewhat hot rodded, higher compression ratio. This is an air-cooled Volkswagen motor. That's why they call these Formula V's, is that they were, and this is specifically a Solo Vee configuration. But the Formula V's were race cars that were created in the 60s using readily available at the time Volkswagen air-cooled Volkswagen Beetle drivetrains, and some of the other parts, brakes, and those are actually Corvette shocks on the front. The front spindles, the the front suspension bits are also from the Beetle of the 60s, 70s. Yeah. But you take away 50% of the car, maybe even 75% of the car, you go from a 2,200, 2,400 pound car down to an 800 pound car, and things like the engine and transmission and brakes and suspension all of a sudden are much more high performance. And that was kind of the idea. It's a poor man's race car built on readily available parts for Volkswagens at the time. And they still race them to this day, 50, 60 years, 50 or so years later. They race them more popularly in Australia and Europe. It's still considered something of a stepping stone to Formula, I think, 3000 and some of the other stepping stones to Formula 1, but very popular in Australia, as I understand it. But here in the U.S., they still race them into SCCA and the Formula V class, and but they've also become popular to some degree for autocrossing, which is what I do, which is what that beast I've been using for a number of years, the old 383 Stroker Corvette. Used just yesterday. It's still damp from being out in the rain. But I bought this last year to be a more exhilarating autocross experience, and the rules for autocross allow for some different things. The wider tires, if it's a proper Solo Vee, you can see those rain tires over there, how narrow those are. That's what the Formula V rules dictate. Those are rain tires, but there's slicks that are just as narrow. And if you're running this in Formula V, that's all the tire you can run on the car. And you're also restricted to a 1200 cc motor. But with the Solo Vee setup, SCCA rules allow for Solo Vee. For Solo is what SCCA calls autocrossing. They allow for bigger motors. And I bought this car. It was built in '82 for Formula V. It has a logbook from that. And then it was converted to basically a Solo Vee in 2001. So they bought the bigger wheels and tires, and the guy built the 1600 cc motor, which is a hot rodded 1600 cc motor, or was, perhaps I should say. And it made about 100 horsepower. It was dynos tested to be about 100 horsepower, compared to the 1600 cc motors that came from Volkswagen. I think they were around 60 horsepower, so it was a pretty good little bump. And being that the car weighs 835 pounds without me in it, about 1,000 pounds or so, 1,050 with me in it, still that's a sufficient, pretty close to a 10-to-1 horsepower ratio, which is not quite as good as the yellow beast over there, but still pretty quick. Not a slow car. But yeah, the engine blew up just a few months after I bought it. I didn't give a lot of money for it, so I wasn't terribly upset. But the rules for SCCA Solo Vee actually started allowing. I'm not sure when the rule change was made, but apparently between 2001 when this motor was built and now they allow up to a 1915cc motor. So the one shining star or bright side to the motor blowing up on this car for me right a few months after buying it is that I could upgrade to a 1915cc, and well, if you know me, you should know that I like upgrading in displacement and power, because that is a 1992 Corvette, and it came from the factory with a 5.7 liter, and it is a built, now a built 383. I built that about 4 years ago, and it's a 6.3 liter, high compression ratio, all the good stuff. Normally aspirated though, no supercharged, just all the good stuff. CNC ported heads and everything. Valve train upgrade. It turns 6,500 RPMs now, where stock red line was 57. So that is my habit. I didn't actually necessarily have to rebuild that motor. I just did the stock motor. You can see in the back corner there. Actually, you can't see it because it's covered with junk. But so yeah, I did that with that car 4 years ago, and I've enjoyed that. And I decided, well, if I'm going to have to put a new motor in this V, I'm going to do it right. And so this is a 1915cc motor that I bought. It's all brand new parts from Scat. I haven't even opened the box yet. I just got it this morning. And it is similar to setup to that. It's got a higher compression ratio, 9-to-1-ish. Upgraded heads, ported and polished heads. It's not a stroker because they won't allow that. For some reason, the SCCA rules don't allow you to do a stroker motor. I could have gone up to 2,374 cc's, I think it was, if I could have done a stroker, but the SCCA rules won't allow that. Since I'm building a car for SCCA C-Mod class Solo Vee, I decided to be fair, be right, even though I probably could have got away with it locally, and just do a 1915cc. Still a nice upgrade of 315 cc's over what was in it before, and from what the guy at Scat told me, we'll see. I'll actually put it on a dyno hopefully at some point in the not too distant future. We'll see, but he's telling me I should expect about 130 horsepower out of this, and once again, 1,000-pound car with me in it, that's a pretty good upgrade. So I think that's enough of a background, and I guess we'll go ahead and open the carton, see what's inside. These are pretty beefy looking now. Straps. May not have enough better here. Well, that's the oil cooler. The dog got oil cooler. Bill Butter didn't have any kind of an oil cooler on it. This is something that was these would have a a fan at least to move air, but in this configuration there's no fan. There's some instructions here. But anyways, he told me I could get a free oil cooler with it, and it's just a matter of getting it to fit in the box, or in the area. I'll show you where it goes. So there it is. All brand new shiny parts from California. It's got spark plugs in it. Instruction sheet. Interesting. Oh, this is going to be fun. Don't think the engine swap will be too hard. So, see that cover there? That is where the stock oil cooler goes. Now, I'm a little bit concerned. Maybe the reason they didn't run it before is because you can see this intake runner might be in the way. But I think what he told me is I could mount it this way. So I may actually be able to mount that oil cooler, which would help some with getting too hot, running too hot in autocross scenarios. I'm going to explore that option at least. I didn't have an oil cooler before, but that's what's in that box. Looks like everything else is wrapped up pretty good. It's a lighter flywheel as well. There's a lot of nice little upgrades I'm getting with this. Not that heavy because it's actually a magnesium block. Maybe some people these days don't realize it, but they actually made these blocks out of magnesium. While it may not be as durable, perhaps we'll find out, I suppose. But hopefully, I mean, it should be durable enough. Hopefully, for the last motor was a magnesium block, and it lasted for 14 years. So if I get 14 years out of this motor, I'll be pleased. I won't have this car for 14 years. Is the reality. I have other evil plans afoot, but. So yeah, magnesium block. The Scat, they offer an aluminum block. It's an expensive upgrade, and it actually adds weight. And this thing being all about lightweight, and being that the last motor lasted for 14 years, I decided I'd go with the magnesium block. I figured that was the way to go. And yeah, so yep, they did install the distributor for me. That's good. I didn't really want to pull that out of the other one. There was the other option they gave me, but I think that's all the unboxing I'm going to do for now. It is shiny and new. I put spark plugs and oh yeah, it's going to be a fun project. So I just thought I'd share with the unboxing process. I'm probably show more later when I actually take it out, and I'll document the steps. I'll be uploading more videos with the actual swap, which I don't think is hopefully won't be too bad. I got to remove the transmission exhaust first, obviously, and then the transmission differential assembly, rear suspension assembly. I think I should just roll that back out of the way, and then there are just 4 bolts, I believe, that hold the back part of the engine frame in. And I can think if I take the carburetor off, intake runners off, I should be able to just roll the whole thing straight back. That's the theory anyways. I haven't tried it out yet, but we will be hopefully be approaching that very soon. And that's all for now. Looking forward to showing you guys how this thing can run again. With 315 cc's more displacement. Displacement.